I'd like to read Guy's objectives. Collect information about your topic from numerous sources. Carefully support your points and opinions with specific facts, examples, and illustrations gathered through research.
I'd like to tell you a story that happened not far from here in Pennsylvania, about 250 years ago. This story involves one of America's most prominent thinkers, one of America's most celebrated people. Would you like to hear that story?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, good, good. I'm glad to hear that. Now this person I'm talking about, he appears on the front of the $100 bill. Does anybody know who's on the front of the $100 bill?
Benjamin Franklin.
Franklin, very good. Benjamin Franklin. What was Benjamin Franklin known for? You could shout out some things he was famous for.
Electricity.
The kite experiment.
Right?
Self-help.
Womanizer.
Don't know about that, but
Everything.
His autobiography.
right. He's known for a lot of things. He was born in 1706 in Boston, Massachusetts. Number 15 out of 17, the youngest son. He was born into a poor family. He went to school from till the age of 10, and then he started working for his father. At the age of 12, he began working for his brother and became a printer. From then on, he had a very industrious life, died in 1790, and became one of America's leading thinkers. He was known for being a founding father. He was a scientist, an inventor, politician, a musician, an economist, a philosopher. One of the things that he was known for was he signed the Declaration of Independence in 1776. He was the oldest of the 56 signers. He was the first United States Postmaster General in 1776. He was the 23rd Speaker for the Pennsylvania Assembly. He was a minister, United States Minister to Sweden and France between 1778 to 1785. He did a lot of things. And I want to tell you, my story is about one thing that happened in particular. When he was a member of the Pennsylvania House, he had a fierce political opponent. I mean, these guys did not like each other. He says in his book that he was rude to him, didn't speak to him, he wasn't very nice to him. And he was in his way, politically. And Benjamin Franklin did an interesting thing to diffuse and to win over this political adversary. It was counterintuitive, and it was simple. It was something that will be called, down the road, it will be called the Benjamin Franklin effect. And what he did was he asked the guy to do him a favor. Once this political opponent did the favor, everything changed. He was nicer to him, he wasn't rude anymore, and they actually became friends. So that's an interesting concept, asking for someone to do you a favor. About 200 years later, in 1969, two researchers, John Jecker and David Landy, had an experiment. They had an experiment to come up to a group of people and conduct a contest in which they won money. After that, half of those participants were asked if they could give back the money. They didn't have to, they were asked. Basically, that's the favor. Later, they asked the participants to rate their experimenter and how well he did, how much they liked him. Turns out, the participants who gave back the money, did the favor, rated the experimenter higher, more favorably. So this confirms what Benjamin Franklin said. That if you get someone to do you a favor, it's more effective than you doing someone a favor. So that's interesting. And I asked myself, why is that? How is that? Why is that true? The short answer is consistency. It turns out other research shows that people are likely to change their attitudes to match their actions. In other words, we as human beings spend a lot of time justifying our actions to ourselves. I know I do. When I do something, Later on I say, oh, I did that because A, B, C, D, and I make stuff up sometimes, and it doesn't necessarily have to be true, but we justify our actions to ourselves. And that's the principle of work here. When someone does us a favor. What probably happened in Pennsylvania 250 years ago is that person had asked himself, he was doing a favor to Benjamin Franklin, he probably asked himself, wait, I don't even like this guy, why am I doing him a favor? And then he probably told himself, well, maybe that Franklin guy's not so bad. He does have a few redeeming qualities. And then he changed his attitude towards Franklin. So the next time you need your coworkers' help, your neighbor's help, try to get him or her to do you a favor. If you're not on speaking terms, worst case, you have nothing to lose. Worst case, you're still not on speaking terms. But, as this effect shows, you're probably likely to have them on your side from now on. I want to leave you with a quote by Benjamin Franklin. He said, all mankind is divided into three kinds. Those who are immovable, those who are movable, and those who move. Thank you, Mr. Totes.